members of the Forward Together Moral Movement, partners, supporters, and concerned citizens to raise our collective voices against the extreme legislation coming from the North Carolina General Assembly.
Amen.
We've come to Pitt County to draw attention to the poor voting records of local legislators, Senator Pate, Representative Susan Martin, and Representative Brian Brown.
That's right.
Sadly, when Democracy North Carolina printed its legislative report card, which graded all legislators, Democrats and Republicans, based on their voting records, Senator Pate received a 0. Representative Brown, 5. And Representative Martin, 0. Shame. We've called on these legislators over and over to repeal a tax on voting rights, but they have ignored the voices of the people. We've asked that they repeal a tax on Medicaid. Again, they ignored the voice of the people. We've asked that they support a well-funded, diverse public education. Again, we were ignored. We have asked over and over that they support putting minimum wage on the ballot and allow the people to vote. We were ignored. Not only were we ignored, the issue of minimum wage was not even up for discussion. Senator Pate and Representative Brown and Martin voted poorly on these issues. Therefore, tonight, we induct them into the Hall of Shame.
State legislators who have supported laws that NAACP and the Forward Together Moral Movement believe are morally indefensible, constitutionally inconsistent, and economically insane. And all of you present are concerned enough to join us as we continue our fight and fight harder than ever to overturn prejudicial and unfair laws, eradicate discriminatory social policies and practices, and dismantle a system that continue to oppress. This is our nation. This is our state. We are here to stay. Tell Governor Curry. Tell Speaker Tillis. Tell Senate Leader Phil Burgess. Tell Representative Brian Brown and Susan Martin. And tell Senator Tom Lewis Pate. We are just getting started.
Over the past 2 years, the North Carolina General Assembly has passed policies showing that teachers and the children that they teach are not valued and certainly are not priorities in North Carolina. Since the 2013 legislative session, nearly 1 in 10 positions have been eliminated from North Carolina's public schools. That's more than 1,600 jobs. While loss of education positions have affected all public school employees, the impact has been greatest on the classroom, where more than 1 in every 3 teacher positions is being left unfilled. The 2013 budget alone cut 5,200 teacher positions and over 4,500 teacher assistant positions. Along with this drastic elimination of teacher positions was the elimination of the limit on class size for grades 4 through 12, which has resulted in a much larger class size, which only hurts our children's ability to learn.
Senator Lewis Pate and Representative Susan Martin and Brian Brown supported the voter suppression bill, HB 589. HB 589 is the worst voter suppression law in the country. It cut early voting by 7 days, eliminated same-day registration, pre-registration for teenagers, straight ticket voting, and out-of-precinct voting. It reduced campaign money disclosure requirements while increasing contribution limits of corporate money to political parties and eliminated public financing options. It authorized more partisan observers inside the polls while empowering vigilante groups to challenge voters, which means bullying at the polls. Finally, it requires that voters show a specific type of government-issued photo ID at the polls beginning in 2016. There was nothing wrong with the voting system before HB 589, and as the saying goes, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. 2 of all ballots cast were during the early voting period. Almost 2,700 people used same-day registration. Almost 5,100 people were without a voter ID, which means our representatives are deliberately disenfranchising that many people at the least by supporting the monster voter suppression bill. To this we say, shame on our representatives.
So the minimum wage in North Carolina is $7.25. You know, a full-time minimum wage worker earns about $15,000 a year, which is $3,000 less than the 2012 poverty threshold for a family of 1 adult and 2 children. However, most people working minimum wage don't even make that much each year because they have to work in industries that sometimes don't give them full-time jobs, or sometimes that they have to take time off to take care of their kids. Every year the cost of living increases. Food, water, energy bills, and other basic amenities and needs become more expensive. However, the purchasing power of minimum wage has decreased dramatically. If the minimum wage in 1968 was adjusted for inflation, it would be $10.09. That's right. Today. If it were adjusted for productivity gains, it would be $16.50 an hour. I believe we need at least 15 an hour to support ourselves and our families. The majority of minimum wage workers who would be impacted by a raise are adults whose families depend on them. Kids whose moms and dads work full-time to make a living.
Federal and Governor, along with the extreme legislative, refused the expansion of Medicaid in North Carolina, leaving 500,000 low-income families without health care. Without health care, you can't do nothing. As a result of this denial, hospitals, especially in rural eastern North Carolina and other rural areas, have been greatly impacted. North Carolina has the opportunity to increase health coverage to most vulnerable residents by expanding our Medicaid program with the federal government funding more than 90% of the cost. That's right. Many of our legislators, including Senator Lewis Pate, Representative Brian Brown, and Representative Susan Martin, voted to block the use of these federal funds to expand access to health care, boost our state economy, and support rural hospitals and rural citizens. Expanding Medicaid will not only ensure health care to 500,000 low-income families, but it would create 25,000 new jobs by 2016. It's ludicrous. Expanding Medicaid would bring in more than $2 billion in federal funds to North Carolina every year and save the state $65.4 million over the next 8 years. You don't have to be a genius to understand those numbers. So how does this impact the county? In Pitt County, my county, your county, 6,577 people would be covered. 1,616 in Beaufort County, 340 in Pamlico County, 2,272 in Lenore County, and 372 in Jones County would be covered. In Pitt County, 302 jobs would be created in 2016, and 612 in 2020. Pitt County received $203.8 million in growth to the county economy from 2016 to 2020.
I chose to march not only for myself, but for my many educator friends who felt too vulnerable. I had not even planned to attend the event, but after watching my educator friends react to the unconscionable passing on the Sunday night of the North Carolina budget, I marched into the legislative building with volunteers from the North from the NAACP and remained to protest after they closed the building, resulting in my arrest. My case is still being continued because my first attempt to complete the community service required of me was rejected by the court. Since that time, I've seen just how vulnerable our educators can be, even at the university level, since the consequences of that budget have started to take shape. Last fall, I assisted ECU's Director of Writing Foundations with a year-long professional development seminar the adjunct faculty were required to take as part of curriculum redesign efforts. I walked in to find many familiar faces I expected to see absent, not only from the crowd, but from the roster, in large part because their numbers had been reduced by half in summer 2014. And they were understandably afraid for their jobs. This year, the department was again forced to reduce the adjunct workforce, and now 8 faculty, who were required to work 10 hours per week for an entire academic year to prepare for teaching our new Writing Foundations course, may never get the chance to teach it. This kind of event is not isolated to the English department, and it's not isolated to ECU. We cannot condone events like this, and we cannot allow them to hold us back.